Hello, Dennis. I think it's too hot for this jacket today. That's better. Hello, Emma. All right. Hello, everyone. Sorry, everybody. I'll be with you in just 1 minute. Oh, sunshine, sure. Sorry, I didn't see that. Yes, you may come to the stage. Hello, sunshine.
Hello, teacher. How are you, Mark?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. What can I do for you today?
I'm good.
Do you have a
At
question
this
or
moment,
something?
at this moment, nothing. I just want to practice English with you.
Okay. Well,
I asked,
go ahead.
yeah, and I want to share a video that deeply moved me.
Okay.
So
You want to share a video. I'm not sure if you
I
can.
tell you that deeply moved me a lot.
Mm-hmm. And
video book which video delivery and I what can I say I really because why is this movie is touching because it's connected to my own struggles and the power of self-belief and just like it might resonate with yours.
okay, you think it might resonate with me?
Yeah,
Okay.
because many things I was deeply moved by three things in this video. First, unstoppable vibe. The opening song she sang was filled with incredible momentum. That spurred unapologetic energy. Isn't just for the stage. It's a call to own our voices. So I want to share this video with you because I want to call us to briefly raise our own voices on the stage.
So you want to inspire people?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you want to inspire them to do what? To be able to speak more, to have more courage, to speak on stage.
Yes.
Okay.
And sit at the table.
All right. So, well, I don't know how you can share the video here, though, because I think that when you're on stage, you can't share anything. I might be able to pull it up on my computer, but I'm not sure if it's a Billy video. It might be a little tricky, and I can't log in. I
want to tell this video what the content of this video, what the story about it.
Okay.
And so, okay, let me continue back to the story. Okay. A second, a wisdom from her mother against discrimination. When she told us a story, when she was at school, she was discriminated against by our children and even others. Yeah.
So she was bullied.
She would come home crying, and her mother would take her to the middle and ask her, "Do you see any N-words? Do you see a liar? Do you see a monkey lip?" She said, "No." Then her mother said to her, "Dry your eyes. And when you back to school, remember, you are rubber, they are glue. Every ignorant thing they say about you bounces off you and it sticks to them." Yeah. How do you feel?
Yeah, we said that when we were children. Yeah. Well, that was what all the kids said when you were a kid. If somebody says something bad to you, you say, "I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything you say bounces off of me and sticks to you." It's a rhyme we had when we were kids. You know, we had a bunch of them like that. "Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me." You know, we had that one too. You know. Yeah, you know, it's normal. But what were they discriminating her against her about? What was were they discriminating or just bullying?
Discriminate.
Okay, about
because
what?
She's only black person
okay, gotcha.
in the school.
Okay.
I think her mother's wisdom is pure brilliance. It means any unkind words don't define us. It's a reminder of reminder of others judgment. We don't is just let go of others judgment, yeah,
Yeah.
and just trust our own truth.
Yeah, you can't it's a hard thing to do, but you need to believe in what you believe about yourself more than you believe in what others believe about you.
Yes. So this okay. The third thing is, her father told her, you needed to think for yourself. After being discriminated and discouraged and rejected by directors, she was able to rediscover her confidence and she focused on her strengths.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. That what is this a video you said?
Yes, and yes, I summarize this
Okay.
sentence, and I so she I think she is very resilient, and
Yeah.
she believed her mother, she believed her father, she believed herself.
Mm-hmm. See, now the one thing that's good about what you're doing is lots of people, they want to practice their English, but they don't know how to practice vocabulary. Like they don't know, how do I practice these types of words or these kinds of words? I want to use this word, but I don't know how. But the way you do it is if you imagine a story that might use words like that, then you can use those words. So the problem is sometimes people are trying to find a way to use the word before they find the story. But you should find the story first, and then you'll find a way to use the word.
Yes, exactly. It's a great way to
Yeah, so like the word that you just
memorize
used,
vocabulary.
resilient, right? That's a good word. It means that
Yeah.
you don't give up, that you keep trying, that you have good endurance, strength of heart and mind. You're resilient. You keep coming back.
Yes, she refused to be defeated
That's right.
and keep moving forward.
That's right. Yeah.
So so when you leave this room today, I challenge all of you to start a meaningful practice of looking in the mirror and allowing what you see, believing what you see. The greatest relationship, the greatest one you will ever have is with yourself.
That's
Believe
true.
me, have faith in yourself. Believe that faith can make broken bones fly, and we deserve to soar.
See, now that's why it's really good to read about people who are different than you, who have a difficult time, and they get through it. There's a
Yeah.
lot that you can learn from that. You can learn a lot of empathy, one, so when you see somebody who's different from you, now you have more empathy because you've read about people like them who have struggled that are something that you can understand. Right? So they might look different than you, but if you read about a struggle that you can understand, now you have a way to connect with them, right? So that's why it's good to read about people who have, or watch movies or experience something where you are able to connect with somebody else who's had some kind of a struggle, some kind of a difficult time, and they got through it. And maybe they were bullied, maybe it was discrimination, maybe it was racism, maybe it was bigotry, maybe it was sexism, maybe it was misogyny, whatever. But they found a way to get through it. Or maybe it's not about finding a way to get through it, it's about reading about their pain so that you can try to understand why you shouldn't do that. When you can read about the pain someone feels, then it doesn't really make you hopefully you don't want to give anybody pain like that after you read about what it feels like.
I don't want to show positive attitude to people, and I want to encourage people to believe in the word, believe in yourself.
Sure.
Yes, and just um, don't you ever give up on you.
That's a good message. That's a good message, Sunshine. Yeah. You
Thank
sound
you.
good. You sound good, Sunshine. It sounds like you've been practicing a lot. So that's good.
Thank you. Thank you for your beautiful feedback.
You're welcome. But I'm going to let you go so I can talk to some other people here today. But it was nice to have you on my stage, and thank you for sharing that video with us. Maybe you can send me the link later and I can post it on my moments, maybe.
Yes, later I will say you.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you
Thank
very
you
much,
for your
Sunshine.
time.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, hello, everyone. What's up? Oh man, my eyes are so red. I've been itching. It's fall, and now the seasons change, and I get allergies, and my eyes are itchy. Hello, Chloe. Hello, Silvano. Nilu, hello. Hajar, hello. Haidar, hello. Aigul, hello. So, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and I have to cook a ton of food. I'm the cook. So I will be cooking a huge turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy and steamed corn and peas and green bean casserole and sweet potato casserole and cranberry sauce and stuffing for the turkey and apple pie. Yeah. Sure, I'll try to take some pictures. Sometimes it's hard to get pictures on Thanksgiving because it's kind of hectic. I'm cooking a lot in the kitchen, and there's so many dishes going at one time, so it's kind of stressful, and it's hard to kind of take a selfie, and you're in the middle of trying to cook 10 things at once. But I'm sure I'll take a few pictures, and I'll see if I can share with you. I have pictures from past Thanksgiving. What kind of coffee am I drinking? It's iced coffee. It's just coffee. Strong coffee. I only have one real qualification for my coffee. I want it to be strong. I don't really care about anything else as long as it's strong. You love to cook too. That's good. Yeah. Let me see. Maybe, hold on. Maybe I can do this. Let me try. There we go. Here's some old pictures. Maybe I can try to load those up really quickly. Give me a minute here. I'll show you. This is from a few years ago, maybe. All right, let's see. Select. Yeah, that's good enough. Now, can I send those? I can. Now let's see, how long is it going to take to send those pictures. Sometimes Telegram is so slow. Oh, okay. All right, good. All right, here's some pictures I can show you from a couple of years ago. Take a look at this. Here's the turkey from maybe, I can't remember if that's last year or the year before. Yummy. Big fat turkey. And those are mashed potatoes. And this is called kielbasa. It's a kind of Eastern European sausage. That's the potatoes. This is called green bean casserole. Underneath here is a bunch of green beans and onions and mushrooms mixed together, and with like a creamy sauce. And then on top is crispy onions. And there you go. So you see all that? I made all that. All except for this one and this one. My brother made those. There you go. There's the Thanksgiving dinner. Is anybody hungry yet? Yeah, that's right. How to get fat. Thanksgiving is the biggest food holiday in the United States. Every Thanksgiving we eat a lot, and we know we're going to eat a lot, so we plan to eat a lot. Here's what my plate looks like, with some turkey and gravy and mashed potatoes and stuffing. And this is the sweet potato casserole, and this is the green bean casserole. And some sausage back here. So there you go. That's what Thanksgiving looks like, at least in my household. Okay. So I see a bunch of people asking some questions that I have answered literally 2,000 times already. And there is something I'm working on that I'm hoping to finish sometime soon. I'm working on a list of frequently asked questions. Right? So people come here all the time and they ask me the same questions over and over again, and I'm going to try to make a list of these questions and answer them because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of answering them. I'm tired of answering, how can I be good at English? I'm tired of answering, how can I have an American accent? I'm tired of answering, I'm sorry, but I've just done it too much. I've done it too much. So now I need to make a frequently asked questions page, and then I will just send you there. But here's the thing. This is what's so crazy, right? People are so lazy today that if I don't answer your question right now, most of you will just go away. Even if I have the perfect answer and I give it to you on a website and I just say, here's the answer, all you have to do is go read it, they won't. Most of them will be like, it's too much work. No, I don't want you to just tell me the answer. Just please tell me the answer. And guess what? No, I will not. Read! Yeah. I can answer it on my YouTube channel. Yeah, so I'm planning to do that too, right? So I want to have a written answer and a video answer, but I want the written answers first because that's the better answer. I'm sorry, but the better answer is usually the one that's written down for a few reasons. Because when it's written down, you can read it again and you can understand it more. If it's a video, you have to watch the video again. I don't think that's as good. I think it's better to read. That's just me. That's just me. Scold them. Yes, I will. I will scold you. I love to scold people. It's fun. But I do it really well. Teacher Mark, Master Scolder. I didn't tell you how I could be fluent in English, so I never will. That's right. I know how you can be fluent in English, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. Orenbeck. Hello, Orenbeck. You don't see anything. What do you mean? You can't see my screen? Video? Seems I think HelloTalk's having some problems recently because a lot of people have been saying they can't see me. Yeah, like right now, I have a bunch of these questions already answered on my blog, right? So if you want to know the best way to learn vocabulary, it's on my blog. If you want to know the best way to learn shadowing or anything about shadowing, like what is shadowing, how do I do it, it's on my blog. If you want to know the best way to, what are the most important parts of language that you should know about? It's on my blog already. It's there. Honestly. Right now, there are at least 10 ideas on my blog that you don't know about that might help you. It's black. Orenbeck, try to leave and come back and see if that fixes it. Where do you find my blog? Okay, good question. Yeah, right here. There is my blog. Okay? You upgraded your HelloTalk account and it started crashing after you did so. Yeah, that happens a lot with apps. HelloTalk updates a lot. I mean, they update like daily sometimes, you know? So, yeah. It happens, unfortunately. If you really want to improve your English, you shouldn't be lazy. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I also have an article that I wrote about how sometimes I can tell a lot about a student based on the questions that they ask me. So some students ask me very specific questions, right, about a specific thing. That tells me that this person has been working on it. That tells me that this person has been thinking about problems they have and things they need to fix, right? So that tells me about that student. But if you ask me a question like, how can I be good at English? That also tells me something about that student. It tells me that you have not thought about it. It tells me that you don't know what your problems are, that you don't know what's easy and you don't know what's hard, that you haven't tried to think about anything deeply. If you're only asking the big questions, that means that you haven't thought about it. I have an article about that. What's the best language you should learn after English? Well, that's up to you. That depends. Everybody's different. You know, there is no best. Languages are like music. They're all good, right? Jazz music is good, and rock music is good, and classical music is good, and funk music is good, and blues music is good, and African music is good, Indian music is good. It's all good, right? So what language you should learn depends on you. What language do you want to learn? What language would be practical for you or useful for you? All of those things. Okay, so yeah, 2 people are having a problem seeing me. Ezra says it's an internet problem, but I think it might not be an internet problem. I think it's a HelloTalk problem because people said the same thing the other day. A few people said that they couldn't see me. So if you cannot see me, then you need to tell HelloTalk, right? You have to there's a HelloTalk team. I think all of your chats, you should have a HelloTalk team that you can chat to. You can send them a message and tell them, hey, I can't see Teacher Mark now. I will tell them that a lot of people are having problems, but you need to report it yourself because they need to see which accounts can't see me so they can figure out why. If I tell them, it doesn't do any good. If I just say, hey, some people couldn't see me on the screen today, that doesn't help them because they don't know what accounts to look at. Okay, so yeah, report the problem, take a picture, tell them. All right. With an app, especially with apps, if there's something going on that's a problem, if you don't tell them about it, then they won't fix it because they don't know. Maybe. Okay? So, yeah, they like to have feedback most of the time. All right? So, Mr. A, maybe you travel to Asia a lot and Chinese would be useful to you. So Chinese would be a good next language to learn. Or you do a lot of business, that could be a good, valuable language for business. Maybe you have an interest or a fascination in Brazilian culture, so you want to learn Portuguese. Right? So it's personal. Which language you should learn is completely up to you. Completely up to you. It took you 2 days to read the article about thinking in English, but I was taking my time to understand it. It's informative. Good. That's what you should do. That's exactly what you should do. And I told everybody that if you can't understand my articles, any of them, copy the article or copy the link and send it to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to please explain it and help you understand it, and it will. Okay, anything that you don't understand, just tell it, can you explain this more simply for me, please? It will. You can talk to it about it. Just say, here's an article. Can we talk about it? Because I don't understand. All right? Yeah. Like here. Just look. Let's do this. Shall we? Let me check on my people over here. Okay, good. Here is my blog, right here. Okay, here is my blog. All right, and you can look at their different kinds of articles up here, and you'll see that the most popular kind of article that I write is this type called concepts, which are big ideas. All right, like here's one here. How can I be fluent in English? Many people ask me, how do I think in English? You keep talking about thinking in English, Teacher Mark. How do you do that? Here's an article about it. Go read it. Okay? If you want to know the complete guide to thinking in English. Okay? Here is a good one. Impress me with your questions. This is the one I was just talking about. If you ask a big question, it tells me that you haven't thought about this or that you're not very serious about it. If you ask a deep, serious question, then I know that you're a serious learner. Okay? How can I be good? It's not a serious question. Okay? Here's a good article about the wisdom of the weak side. This is about teaching yourself to use your weak side when you do things, to experience it. For example, have you ever tried to brush your teeth with your left hand, with your opposite hand, your weak hand? Have you ever tried to write with your left hand, your opposite hand, your weak hand, whatever? Maybe you're left-handed, so it would be your right. But the point is that you should try. Honestly, there is a lot that you can learn from experiencing trying to do things with your weak hand. Okay? It's good for you for a lot of reasons. Here's another article about the 2 most important guiding principles in my life. If you want to know the 2 things that I remember to try to be a good person, then read this article. So some of my articles are about English, some of my articles are about life or other things, okay? But a lot of them are about English, right? Here's one about the value of learning to teach, how when you teach somebody what you know, it's really good practice for you. It's one of the best forms of practice. Teaching someone else is a great form of practice, okay? Here's the article about shadowing. If you don't know how to shadow or what shadowing is, read this article. Here's an article about the 8 parts of language. Okay, these are all written by me. All right? I took time to sit down and do this thing to get the answers out of my head for you. Learning a language requires willpower, which has declined in this era. That's a really good way to say that everybody today is a big wuss. Willpower has declined. That's basically like saying everybody's a big wuss. What's a wuss? A wuss means a coward. Come on. If you say you want something, then prove it. Talk is cheap. Anybody can talk. Anybody can say words. Anybody can say, I'm the best. It doesn't mean anything when you say it. You have to be it. You have to do it. You are not the things that you say. You are the things that you do. Whatever you say really does not matter until you do it. Then it has weight. Then it matters. What's the meaning of these stars in front of people's names? Huh? I have no idea. What stars? I don't see any stars. Are there stars? I have no idea. There's a good app called Notebook LM. It helps a lot with what, Hajar? You're welcome, Shalini. You have to maintain some manner with it. Yeah, in case they control the world, right. Yeah, people keep talking about this, but honestly, if you're not a billionaire, then right now, whatever is happening in the world, kind of out of your control. Kind of out of your control. So you may as well just enjoy it and, you may as well just enjoy it and try to use AI for the benefits that you can get out of it before the world goes to hell. That's kind of how I think about it right now. How do we make the flap T? So the flap T is not, it's not what you think. So let's look at the word butter. Butter. It's B-U-T-T-E-R. There's not just one, but there are two T's in butter. So, do many people say butter? Yeah, even myself. That doesn't necessarily mean that that is the correct pronunciation. I will say that as an American, the correct pronunciation is butter. However, in common speech, we get lazy. Pronunciation of common English is lazier than proper English. So in proper English, would you please pass the butter? But in common English, can you pass the butter? Now, what is that T? It's not really a T. It sounds more like a D. That's what everybody says. Why? Why does it sound like a D? Because what happens is, though the T sound, when you get faster, there's no room to say the whole sound. So instead of saying the entire T sound, imagine there's a T right here in the middle. Okay, and I have two halves of this T. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the front half off. And now I only have the back part of the T. It's the back half of the T. So if you cut the front part of the T off because it's too fast, now that hard sound, that t, 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 is gone. That hard sound is gone. So now it's not little, it's little. It's not butter, it's butter. Okay? But I think it's much easier to imagine what it's supposed to be if you forget this thing they call the flap T. Because what is that supposed to mean? Why is it a flap T? Why did they say flap? I know why, but it doesn't help you at all. But if you just imagine that they take the letter T, and when it's spoken quickly, there's no time to say the entire sound, so instead we cut the front part of the T off and leave the back part of the T, and that is what they call the flap T. Yeah, like water and water. Okay? But it's one of those things that if you think about it, you'll do it wrong. You'll do it right if you just stop thinking about it. Don't try to think about it, just let it happen. Okay? If you're going to think anything, I want you to think about the back half of the T. Okay? But what you have to remember is, if you ask the average American on the street, can you tell me about the flap T? They will look at you kind of like this. Huh? Most people don't even know what a flap T is. Because that's not how we learn it. We are never told about anything involving a flap T. We are taught how to say the word butter when we're children. And then, naturally, speech becomes more lazy as it becomes more casual. So butter becomes butter. Okay? But in my opinion, I think there's a kind of a misconception going on in the English teaching world in America right now. Because there are a lot of teachers who are going around saying that the proper pronunciation is that. And I dispute that. I think the proper pronunciation of butter is still butter. But I believe that there are two, both acceptable pronunciations. One would be the more formal, proper pronunciation of butter, and the other would be the more casual, common pronunciation of butter. They're both fine, but I will not accept that there's only one that's correct, and that's the flap T casual one. I do not agree with that. I just think that they're making an assumption of accent for the entire population. When there are shades of pronunciation of correctness, right? Correctness of pronunciation. Let me put it that way. So that means that there are some people who speak with great diction and great pronunciation and enunciation. When they speak, every letter and sound is clear, as I'm trying to do now. But there are some people who are a lot more lazy with their speech. Does that mean it's wrong? Occasionally it might be, but mostly it's not. Not wrong, just casual. Proper, casual. They're both American English. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Thunder. I'm not sure what you're saying I'm 100% right about, but thank you. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. The flap T is another one of those things. There's another one that I hate. These are all linguistic terms. Let me think of there are a few that I hate. The glottal stop, the flap T. What's the other one? The schwa. The schwa. The schwa is such a funny sound. It's such a stupid sound, and I'll tell you why. Because The schwa is the most common sound in the American English language. It's the most common sound, okay? But the name of the sound doesn't give you any help at all. The name of the schwa comes from Hebrew. If I remember right, it's like it's the Hebrew sound of it's like the empty letter sound they called it, I believe, something like that in Hebrew, right? So it's a Hebrew term that's meant for a sound in Hebrew. but the linguistics professors, the linguistic experts, right, the linguists, they decided, oh, well, the Hebrew people already have, the Hebrew speakers, they already have a word that means an empty sound. Let's just steal their word and use it for English. But there's so many problems with that. As a linguist, there are no problems with that. That's fine. As a language teacher, there are tremendous problems with that. Why? Because there is nothing about the sound of the word schwa helps you understand what it does, unless you know about Hebrew language. So it's really weird. It's really weird. And what is the sound of the schwa? This is the even dumber part. What is the sound of the schwa? I'll tell you what it is. What sound do you make when you don't know an answer? If you don't know the answer, what's the sound you make? Everybody? Anybody? If I say, what's 2,421 times 643? Yeah, almost. You're almost right. It's not it's That's the schwa. It's This is sound, I don't know. What are we doing? What's that sound? That's the schwa. So in the sound what? What? There's the schwa. Now, it's just one of those things where people come and ask me all the time, can you help me with the schwa? I don't understand the schwa. You don't understand the schwa only because they called it the schwa. That's the only reason you don't understand. There are many problems with language learning in this way, that there are things about grammar that were created or decided by linguists that don't have any help or benefit for language learners. So it's academically what's the right word? Oh, I can't think of a good word. It's like almost non sequitur, which means like so unrelated that it's ridiculous. Yeah. There's the schwa, everybody. The sound. Okay? So yeah, things like the glottal stop and things like the schwa and things like the flap T. These are terms that were created by linguists that honestly just confuse people. They just confuse people. What the hell is glottal? No person walking on the street in America knows what that word means, unless you're a linguist. I mean, I know, but it's just one of those things that it's like, yeah, linguistics have there's been too much blending. Language has been mixed too much between linguistics and language learning, but there has not been enough of a divide that's clear. and the linguists are not thinking about efficiency or efficacy or practicality or logic. They're only thinking about scientific logic. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, they're making you think too hard. Sometimes you just gotta stop thinking and just do. I mean, honestly, it's true. Okay. Have I annoyed anyone yet? If I haven't, then I'm not doing my job. Wow, James Blunt is here. What's up, dude? Hello to all the people who are here. If you have a question, you can ask me. But it's better if it's a small question, not a big question. Okay? You are a regular here, Flavia. That's right. So yeah, tomorrow I will be cooking almost all day. You think I'm tired of big questions? I am. I'm tired of big questions. How can I be good at English? How can I have a good accent? Those questions. They require either a book or a private lesson. And I'm not going to give you a private lesson here. Do I like mac and cheese? Yeah, of course I do. I'm American. Yeah, we love mac and cheese. Although, I'm kind of a mac and cheese snob. When I was a kid, we all ate the boxed mac and cheese, either Kraft mac and cheese or Velveeta mac and cheese. And every once in a while, I can eat like a few bites of that stuff, and it's like got a nostalgic feel of like, that's kind of like my childhood. But most of the time when I eat them, I'm like, what is this? Like, this isn't cheese. So I make my own mac and cheese that has actual cheese in it. It's still saucy, it's got a sauce in it, but it's got real cheese in it. And I'll use like 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 5 kinds of cheese sometimes. Teach you vocabulary related to topics. So, Princess Rabbit. The best way for you to learn vocabulary about those topics is for you to read about those topics. Okay? It will not benefit you that much if I just choose some random political terms and teach them to you. Okay? It won't really benefit you that much. But if you see those same words in a story or an article, something that you can read with context, that will have much more value to you. So, there are a few ways you can do this. You can type in a search for those topics, right? Articles about politics, articles about weapons, articles about health, right? You can read about those things just by finding the topics. You can ask ChatGPT to discuss those with you and teach you vocabulary related to those topics through articles. Tell it to teach you through contextual reading. Don't just tell it to teach you vocabulary. That will not help you. You need to learn the words in context. Okay? ARM code. I don't stream every day. I stream many days. All right? I stream many days. Recently I'm a little busy. Okay? So recently I'm here like 4 or 5 days a week. Sometimes I'm here 6 days a week. Sunday is my day off. Okay? And I'm here in the morning. So you live in what looks like, I believe, Colombia. So if you're in Colombia, then you're maybe an hour or two off from where I live, right? I'm in New York City time, so you might be an hour back or an hour up. I can't remember where that is. I think you're an hour back. So yeah, somewhere in the morning for you. Android or iOS, is that a question, or you're asking what I use? I'm an iOS guy. I know. Yeah, I'm a Mac dude. My computer is PC to do live streaming, but I like iPhone, and I've got a MacBook here and an iPad here. I'm a Mac dude. I have been for a long time. Will I do it tomorrow? Will I do what tomorrow? Will I make mac and cheese tomorrow? Well, maybe. I have some mac and cheese that I made a couple of weeks ago that's frozen in vacuum seal bags in my freezer. So if anybody wants some mac and cheese for Thanksgiving, I can pull some out. Do I think that memorizing sentences to use them when practicing English is more useful than being spontaneous? Farah, I think that there is some value in learning some memorized sentences, okay? They're like songs, okay? A sentence is like a song. You have to do it enough until you learn it so that you don't have to look at the music anymore. You can just play it without looking at the music, right? So the same thing is true with some practical sentences. There are some sentences that are so practical that they're like songs. Yeah, you should just memorize them and learn them like a song, right? Like, how many songs do you know? Oh, look, like each sentence is a song, okay? But you cannot learn a language by only memorizing. You have to play with it. So this is what you should do, is memorize some that you think are practical for you. Okay? And somebody's going to yell at me and say, "But Teacher Mark, you said we should never memorize anything." What I said was memorizing is the worst way to learn, but that there are times when maybe that's the way you should use. Okay, for this particular situation, when we're talking about rote memorization, rote, R-O-T-E, it means repetitive, okay, through repetition. So, in this case, a little bit is not a bad thing, okay? You can memorize some, okay? Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Have I tried bechamel pasta? Yes, I have, sure. I look so old. Is that maybe it's the hat? Diran, I am old, Diran. I'm an old dude. I don't know how old you think I am, but I'm older than you thought. one moment, please. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's Lithuania. Oh, I'm so sorry, Armcode. It's so small on my screen. It's like a dot, so I can't really tell. It's really hard to see. And when it's that small, it looks a lot like Colombia. But Lithuania, that's cool. And I also don't often see the Lithuanian flag come up here, so welcome. So if you're in Lithuania, then my morning is more like your afternoon, early evening, I think. Thank you, Ezra. You love my coffee. It's coffee. John, when I eat food, I'm pretty picky. I mean, I love lots of different kinds of food. I love every kind of food, but I cook. So I like food that's cooked well. I like it cooked properly, right? With good techniques, right? So, most of the time when I eat, I care a lot about food, but there is one kind of food that I don't really care about it much at all. I just want it to wake me up, and that's coffee. Okay? Anthony Bourdain was the same way. Anthony Bourdain was a famous chef, and he was very particular about food, but coffee, he didn't care. He just wants a coffee. I just want it strong. That's it. The only kind of coffee that I don't like is weak coffee. That's the only coffee I don't like. My favorite coffee is Vietnamese coffee. That will wake you up like a rocket. That stuff has twice the caffeine that most coffee has. There are two kinds of coffee, Arabica and Robusta. Okay, most of the coffee that you have is Arabica coffee. Okay, Arabic, right? It's from the Middle East or from Ethiopia, right? But then there's another kind of coffee called Robusta. Robusta coffee is double the caffeine, twice as much caffeine. And Vietnamese coffee uses Robusta coffee. Promulgate. What does promulgate mean? It means to declare. To declare openly, to tell people something is to promulgate. Okay? Promulgation. It's not a common word. It's not a very common word at all. Okay? Anything that you declare publicly with an open declaration, you say, this is what we're doing, that's to promulgate. Okay? Oh man, I have probably 60 articles that I have not finished, that I've started, but I have not finished. You're very interested in what I'm talking about with songs. I'm saying that you should think about some language if it's very useful. Like, for example, there's a famous song called Fier Elise. Do you guys know the song Fier Elise? Do you guys know that song? The piano song. Right? Everybody knows that song, right? Why does everybody know that song? How many people have you ever learned that song on piano? Have you ever learned that song? I know a lot of people who learned that song. So the point is, that song is really famous. You know it because it's famous. Why is it famous? Because many, many people have memorized it and played it. So it's now well known and useful, practical, right? If I sing that song, everybody knows that song. From almost every country, you've heard it, right? So there are some sentences that have that same feeling. There are some sentences that are very practical sentences, right? So for example, when you learn English, one of the first things that you learn is nice to meet you, right? You memorize it. Hi, my name is Mark. Nice to meet you. You memorize it. Why? Because it's a song that's useful, that everybody knows. So you should learn it, and you should memorize it. That's what I mean. Some sentences are like songs, that they're so useful and so practical and so commonly known that you should just take some time to do them so much that you know them by heart. You memorize them. Okay? So I don't have to see the music to remember the notes. Right? I can think of them. Right? And I practiced it on piano so many times that my hand, if my hand is on the keys on the piano, it knows where to go. I don't even need to look because I've done it so many times. Okay? So there are some sentences that you should do so much in some way that you memorize them because they're that useful. Okay? Now, everybody's different though. So there are different songs for different people, right? Nice to Meet You is a song that everybody knows and everybody learns. But maybe you are interested in sports. If you are interested in sports, then there are some sentences that you will learn about sports that maybe somebody else will not learn because sports are not important to them. They will do what's important to them, right? So you have to think about which sentences are valuable to you. Some are valuable to everybody, like, nice to meet you, how are you? Thank you, please. Those are useful for anybody, right? But there are some songs that are just useful for this person, right? There are some sentences that are just useful for this person. Okay? So not everybody learns the same thing. It's just like music. Musicians, most musicians know that song, Furilis. But do we all know all the same songs? No, of course not. Of course not. There are some songs that I know that my friend doesn't know. Okay, that's like sentences. Language is the same. There are some things that I know how to say, that I speak, that I'm familiar with, that you are not familiar with. Okay? Where is the toilet, indeed? Right, hello, bacon. It's like typing on a keyboard. Yeah, that's right. It's similar to that. That when you first learn to type on the keyboard, you have to look, and it's very awkward, and you don't know where everything is. But the more you do it, the more it's like, oh, I don't have to look, right? When I play the drums, most of the time when I play the drums, my eyes are closed. Like, I mean, a lot of the time when I'm back there playing the drums, I'm kind of in my own little place in my mind, you know, so my eyes are just... But when my arms move around, I know where everything is. I don't need to look because I've done it so much. Okay? As a matter of fact, when I was 17 years old, I think I was about 17 years old, I used to love to practice drums in the dark completely, like total darkness. And at that time, I had a very, very big drum set with a lot of drums and a lot of cymbals. So there was a lot of things to hit, and you have to know just the right place to hit them. And if you learn to play in the darkness, then you learn where things are by feel, not by sight. The point is, it's about memorizing things until you know them without thought. You know? Am I the owner of the Z Sounds app? No. Why would you think I was? All right. Let's see. Judy wants to talk to me. Judy, you want to come talk to me? Judy, are you there? Hello, Priya. Bacon is the owner of the Z Sounds app. No? Don't want to come up? Okay, how about Sarah? Sarah, do you want to come talk to me? Sarah does not want to come talk to me. How about Abir? Abir, are you still there? Abir doesn't want to come. Okay, nobody wants to come talk to me. That's okay, Sarah. How am I feeling today? Oh, how does anybody feel when living in a dystopian society on its way to fascist authoritarianism? I don't know. I'm pretty good, considering. Terminators have not come to kill me yet, so I think I'm pretty good. We're just about at that stage of the game where if the Terminator hasn't come to kill you yet, you should be thankful. It's a pretty good day. Pretty good day. What's up, Teacher AS? Hello. Thank you for the gift. Did I do anything special today? No, not today. No. After I finish here, I'll have something to eat, and then I need to begin preparation of cooking for things for tomorrow. I usually pre-cook some things, or I'll at least prepare things ahead of time today, so that I don't have to do everything tomorrow. It's easier that way. We have about a 10-kilogram turkey this year. Can you learn language through singing? Lena, you can. Okay, but here's what you need to remember about singing. It's an art. It's not a science. Art doesn't care about the rules. So, what I mean is, you can learn a lot of English by listening to songs. But you need to remember that when people write songs, they don't care about the grammar rules, right? So maybe they might use some things or say some things that are much more casual or slang or common, things that you cannot say on a test, right? Maybe it's acceptable in common language, but it would never be acceptable on a test. Okay, so that's what you need to remember about learning any language using songs. Okay? You know, like Lena, I remember as a boy learning Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, Summer Libertina, right? I remember learning that. That's French, right? That's a good place to start. It's a good way to get things working, right? But you still need to learn about grammar and vocabulary, and you still need to study reading, writing, and listening and speaking and all of that. Okay? You know, like there's a famous song, there's a famous jazz song. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-ah, 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 do-ah. Right? It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Is that okay to say on a grammar test? No. But it's okay to say in real life. Okay? And yes, Lena, I know my French is poo-poo. I know my French is terrible. Can I explain what is chunk and how can you improve it? Suleiman, where did you see this chunk? Chunk is a word that means a big piece of something. A chunk of something or a hunk of something is usually a large piece of something. You know, so if I say, can you give me a chunk of bread or a hunk of bread, that's a big piece of bread. All right? So I don't know what this chunk is that you're talking about. You can't improve. I don't know what that means, to improve your chunk. I like the sound of it, though. It sounds kind of cool. Today, what are you doing today? Today I'm working on my chunk. Suleiman, maybe you spelled it wrong. What word are you trying to say? In grammar, you have what? There's a word called chunk in Persian grammar? But there isn't one in English. Sarah, I'm usually here sometime in the morning in America, right? So I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, but it's the same time as New York City, right? So If it's morning in New York City, then I'm going to be on probably sometime maybe 9, 9:30, 10, 10:30, something like that. Okay? Oh, there is an expression. So chunking. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. And it still does mean the same thing. Never mind. I know what you mean now. Yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. I was confused for a moment. So the word chunk, it means what I said it means. It means a big piece of something. So chunking in English grammar is putting words together into little groups of things. Like, for example, you're trying to put words together so that when you learn them, they stay in your brain as a group, not as one word. Okay? So, let's see some examples of chunking. Let's see. Like, for example, there are different kinds of chunking. For example, in every country has phone numbers, and the way you say a phone number, everybody says it in different chunks. So, for example, in the United States, if you say a phone number, usually you'll say, it depends on where you live, but most people will say something like a group of 3 numbers and a group of 4 numbers, right? So 231, 8456, right? That's 3 and 4. That's American phone numbers. That's chunking, okay? Another kind of chunking is when I was a kid, they taught you the colors. They would teach you Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv. ROYGBIV. Red, orange, yellow, blue. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That was what it was, yeah. And that's all the colors. And that's a way of chunking. By doing Roy G. Biv, an acronym, it helps you learn all of those colors at once. That's a kind of chunking. All right? But for grammar, let's see. Things like, in my opinion, or do you have, or what else? To make a long story short. To make a long story short. That's a chunk. You're going to learn that all together, right? So any of those words that you learn in phrases as a group, that's chunking, okay? That's one form of chunking, all right? It started from psychology, actually. The term chunking originally, a chunk is a piece of something, a large piece of something. But in so it's about memory, right? There's a term in memory. Chunking is the process of grouping things together for meaning, so that you're tying things together, right? So they're easier to remember. That's all it is, okay? And there are lots of ways to do it. And it's just a memory strategy. That's really all it is. Okay? Right. That's right. So anything that you should learn as a group, like, when you say the phrase, what do you like? You learn all of that together. You don't say, what do you? You learn the whole thing together. What do you like? Right? That's chunking. All right? It's just a matter, it's a learning technique, it's a psychology technique, it's a thinking technique. It's a way to trick your brain to try to learn things in a group rather than as a single It's a trick. It's a psychological trick. Basically, you're teaching your brain that a group of things is one, but it is many. So it's just a trick. That's all. Okay? Now, I'm so sorry that I was so confused when you first said, how can we improve chunk? Because you have to use chunking. If you had said chunking, then I would have known what you meant. But when you say only the word chunk, now I only know the meaning of the word chunk, which just means a large piece of something is a chunk. Okay? So a chunk of language is a large piece of language. It's several words put together. All right? Thank you, Robson. Yeah. That's right, Eli. That's right, yeah. That's one of those funny things where, the main meaning of the word chunk is the first one that comes to mind. So when somebody says, "Can you help me improve my chunk?" I don't know how to help you improve your chunk. Chunking. Now that's a verb. Now I can help you. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just teasing you. All right. Funny. All right. There is no topic. I'm topicless. I am the topicless man. Homo no topicus. So if you have a question, just ask me. I'm here. What's the weather here? It's windy and a bit cold today. Windy and cold. It is 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and which I'll do some conversions for you. It is the weather today in Cincinnati, Ohio is 4 Celsius. Pretty cold. And windy, very windy today. Am I a musician? Yes, I am. Musician is the word you're looking for. All right, let's see. What articles am I going to try to finish today? Somebody asked me earlier about how many hours that you should do something. People ask me that all the time, too. I need to write an article about that. I'll be honest with you. Most of the people who are counting their hours when they're trying to learn something, they will not really be successful. That's my experience. Okay? When you want to learn something, you just say, I want to learn something. And then you do as much as you can, anytime you can. That's it. Many people, they want to put some number on it. They'll say, I'm going to do an hour a day. I'm going to do 2 hours every day. And I know why you do that. I know you think that if it's consistent, that's the most important thing. And consistency does matter, and consistency is good. But counting hours doesn't get you anywhere. It has no value. Okay, so if you have 3 people and they're all learning English, it's going to take them 3 completely different amounts of time for them to learn. And there is nothing that you can do about that. So when you ask me how many hours should I do, it's not a useful question. You should do as much as you can, period. So on one day, maybe you have more time, and so you can do more, and you should. Okay, now here is another thing. Many people, they think that studying is like torture. Because for many of you it is, and sometimes it is. Sometimes studying is torturous. But if you have better ways of studying, it's very easy to study for a long time. So let me ask you a question. How many of you have a hard time studying for 1 hour? Like if you need to study for 1 hour, how many of you think that's hard to focus for 1 hour? How many of you have trouble with that? Anyone? Bueller. Did anybody hear my question? Is anyone listening to me? Is this thing on? Yeah, all right, well, never mind. Nobody's paying attention anyway. 1 hour is okay. For Eli's okay for 1 hour. Okay, well, what about 2 hours? Is 2 hours okay? Can you do 2 hours easily? When you do 1 hour, you are using your focus to do that 1 hour, right? 90 minutes. Okay, so for 90 minutes, you can hold your focus, right? Take care, Bacon. Well, let me teach you another trick. This is the way that I learn something. If I want to study something, it's very easy to do 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. Do you know how I do that? Because I have 100 different ways to study. That's how. If you only have one way to study something, if you have one book and that's the only thing that you have, and you're going to read that book for 90 minutes, yeah, that's like torture. You're forcing yourself to stay focused for an extended period of time. But you can manipulate your distractibility. You can trick yourself by, if you have 20 books that have 20 different things, or let's say you have 3 grammar books and they're all just basic English grammar, but they're from 3 different companies. So you can do chapter 1 in this book for a little bit, then do chapter 1 in the next book for a little bit, then do chapter 1 in the third book for a little bit. Then you can do 15 minutes watching a YouTube video. Then you can do 20 minutes playing Duolingo. Then you can do 15 minutes talking to somebody on HelloTalk. So if you only have one way to study, then it's really hard to study for a long time. But if you have 1,000 ways to study, it's a piece of cake to study for a long time. The problem will be you don't have enough time to study because you have so many ways. So consider that. Consider that. I don't try to force myself to stay focused. I manipulate my distractibility to stay focused. Little mental trick. All right? So, for example, with the drums, right? I play the drums. So maybe I have a book about rock drumming, and I'll practice in that book, and I'll read, and I'll do it for as long as I can. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45, maybe an hour I can do it, you know? But then something, I get frustrated or bored or tired of it, right? Then I stop that book, and then I'll take 15 minutes, a little break, to play with whatever ideas that I just learned. So if I learn something for 30 minutes or an hour, then I take 10 or 15 minutes to kind of play with those ideas. What can I do with them? Memorizing them is one thing, but can you use it? Right? So if I learn something in a book, then I have to take 10 minutes to see, can I play with it a little bit? Can I use it? Is it useful to me now? Then I will pick up the next book and say, oh, so I did rock for 30 minutes and I played for 15 minutes for fun. Now I'm going to do the jazz book for however long I can, an hour. And then I will take a break and practice those ideas for a few minutes for fun, to play with them. Then I go to the next book. If you like what you're studying, it's super easy. But even if you don't like what you're studying, it's still a lot easier if you have many, many, many ways to learn. If you don't like that book, fine. Try another one. Do you know how many books they have about English? Thousands. Okay, so why choose one? Why choose one when you could choose them all? And then you have no trouble finding something to do. If you have a million ways to practice, then you always have things to practice. That means that it's easy to practice for a long time. Okay? So when I practiced the drums, when I first started playing the drums, I would practice for 30 minutes or an hour, and I was like, yay, I'm so good. But I would count the time. But then I tried this method. I found this method. I created this method for myself. And suddenly I wasn't practicing for 30 minutes or an hour. I was practicing for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hours. And I was never bored, and I was never tired of it. They had to tell me to stop practicing. You know, my parents would be like, man, you've been playing drums for like 6 hours. Can we have a break? So, yeah. For most people in school, you learned that learning is torture, that you're supposed to torture yourself with information. That's how you learn. But there are so many better ways than torture for learning, you know? Okay, what time is it? Okay. It's just about time. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Ba-dum-doo-dum. I have to go, but before I go, I will just give you this, okay? I know I didn't answer all your questions. I'm sorry. Here's my YouTube. On my YouTube channel, there are hundreds of videos. Pick one, watch it. Take some notes. If you watch one of my videos, if you're new, and you watch one of my videos, if you don't learn anything new, I'll give you a free lesson. But you have to prove it. But I'm telling you, if you just watch one of any of my videos, you will learn something you didn't know before about language or English. All right? So there's my YouTube channel. I also have a website here. This is my website. If you want to study English, if you go to my website, I have everything you need to study English for free on my website. Go there. Okay? And then finally, I have a blog there is my blog. And on my blog, I have many articles that I wrote. Me, this guy. Those are my best answers. Go read them if you're serious about learning. Okay? Don't be shy, just talk. Yes, Jack, that's correct. Yeah. All right, guys, I have to go. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening. I will not be here tomorrow because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So it's a family day, it's a holiday, and I will be busy cooking in the kitchen all day and eating all night. And then I should be back on Friday. Okay? I should be back. I should be back on Friday, but I'm not going to be here tomorrow because it's a holiday. Okay? Thank you very much for the happy Thanksgiving wishes. I appreciate that. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, and I will see you guys next time. Okay?